All right, Shalom. It's the brother Barzal from Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shemi, Shai, Shemar, Kakodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and in truth. Yeah, and I just have this lesson going into these AI robots. Shows you exactly what times that we're living in. You know, a lot of people like to downplay the prophecies of the Lord according to the scriptures and what we say about how in the days to come is going to get very, very treacherous for the citizens. All right, not only the United States citizens, the citizens, of course, in Russia, the Asiatic lands, Europe, South America, so on and so forth. Africa, of course, you know, it's going to get very, very hectic out here. And it's going to come to the point where Esau and these other national leaders, they're going to start, you know, really open up their caches, opening up the inventory, and bringing out the full-scale technology to control the masses of the people. You know, as we see, is constant protests, it's constant, bickering about the government and individuals looking to overthrow and topple the government due to unjust reasons and things of that nature. And the government or the powers that be are gonna resist by bringing out, like I said, this new age technology. You know, the power that they have, through monetization, through actually, using robots. They're gonna actually open that door. But it says AI RoboCops continue rolling out across the United States, collecting biometrics and creating blacklists. So it says the move toward using robots in law enforcement, private security, and even to scare away the homeless has been a decade-long trend that is now becoming much more prevalent in everyday life. Right? They've been trying to come out with certain, I would say, sound waves to push out the homeless from these major cities that's sleeping in the inner cities, so that they could be pushed to the outskirts and things as such. But it says RoboCops have now been launched coast to coast in 16 states. Last year, it was security robots deployed in New York City, as Aaron Kesey reported. The robots are able to scan anyone walking on the sidewalks, record license plates, use infrared vision, and one of the scariest uses of this technology is the capability to detect cell phone serial numbers with a designed patrolling area. All right, so it's coming to the point where you as a citizen, exercising your amendment rights, exercising, your freedom of speech and things of that nature, all those things are getting shut down. Esau is really rolling out the new world order right up under us. And it's only for those that actually have eyes to see and ears to hear to understand what times that we're living in. And this RoboCop thing, man, that's something that you would believe is on a fictitious movie. Like when you watch the movie RoboCop, you say, "Oh, that's a thing of that's some futuristic technology." That might come out in the year 2074, 2085, or some madness like that. When these things are present, man, Barack Obama and his administration, he had spoke openly about them actually having Iron Man. He said it. He said it basically on a podium. And a lot of people gave him praises, and a lot of people applauded, not knowing that all those things are going to lead to their detriment. It's going to come to the point where everything that you write down, whether on media websites or on your phone, it don't matter even if you try to encrypt certain texts, it's still going to be brought out to the forefront. So it's Huntington Park, California now has its own version that has been added to the police force. The HP RoboCop Mass Private sent out an alert a couple months ago that this particular model would be rolled out. At the time, we received the usual promotional statement from police advertising the many benefits that citizens would receive. Right, and that's Esau and his witchcraft. He wants to make it seem like it's to appease you when that instrument is tailor designed to serve the government. That's why when you watch the movie I, Robot, starring, of course, Will Smith, you see how the robots at first instance, they were compliant. A lot of people purchased those robots and had them in their households, and then they started to trigger off. They started to trigger off, and it became very dystopian. They had to fight off and kill the robots that actually lived and dwelled among them. And of course, Will Smith, his robot that he actually had, was different. He had signs of so-called intelligence and emotion, so on and so forth. When he said that he didn't kill the individual, he was showing, emotion. But that's of course a movie. That's the fictitious part. When these robots and things of that nature come to the forefront, there is no communicating with them and trying to have a dialogue for them to lower their emotions or lower their guard and actually have sympathy and empathy for you. They're totally built in. They're wired to oppose your views, especially if you're a convicted felon. If you're so-called labeled as a terrorist, if you're a truth speaker, which they call conspiracy theorists in these times, you're going to be enemy number one. And we all know that we're in a time of we're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble, where the 12 tribes are going to be heavily persecuted for the name and the word's sake, and they're going to be knocking at the doors of the men of the Lord. But continuing on, it says, I will. It says, at the time we received the usual promotional statement from police advertising the many benefits that citizens would receive. This inspired Muskrock to file a record request from the HPPD to see what details might have been omitted from the original reporting. Last week, Muskrock received a cache of documents that they are now releasing to the public. Muskrock highlights the added surveillance of the citizenry that they have the pleasure of funding with their own tax money to the tune of $8,000 per month per robot to operate. Once again, the technology is being supplied by Nightscope, a leader in the field for supplying both governments and private security. Right, and it's a lot more to this article. If brothers want to, of course, indulge and read. Matter of fact, I'll read this. It says, meet the security team of the future. Our machines have traveled over 100,000 miles autonomously and are already making an impact on crime across the U.S. And of course, autonomous is self-driving. You see the whole thing with these autonomous vehicles, and these are still beginning stage models. Esau is going to upgrade these things drastically, man, and it's going to all come out of the taxpayers. It's going to be funded through taxpayers' dollars. So it says, we've assisted law enforcement in issuing an arrest warrant for a sexual predator, a security officer in apprehending a thief in a retail environment, a real estate owner in shopping, a fraudulent insurance claim, a healthcare organization in deterred vehicle break-ins, a corporation in tracking down a vandal. How can we help you? So, excuse me. So that's the times that we're living in, and like I said, these people are totally asleep. That they're fully fixed on, hot girl summer and partying, parlaying with these celebrities and just being total dumbasses. Excuse my French, but these people are in a total sleeper. I said this is all gonna all these are indications of the end times that we live in there, on top of other things. This is just, as the scripture says, the beginning of sorrows. And in order to actually endure the times to come, you have to first off prepare your mind for the things to come and be in the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah. So this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 17. Woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? All right, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, and the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. Yeah, and you actually have even also Black Mirror had an episode of those. I was thinking they were certain dogs, technological dogs that would go, and they would their whole job that was built in them was to hunt down humans and kill them. Because the humans were chipped, of course, And they actually had the ability to shoot microchips in individuals. They would actually release a barrage of many little pellets, and if you were hit, then it actually would track you, and you could run away as much as you wanted to, and they were extremely fast. It was damn near impossible to destroy them. And Esau is looking to take technology to that height. So it says, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And what does a man of the Lord do when the evils shall come? Pray to Yahweh Shema Shai and endure. Because the Lord said that these evils are going to come, but he said, he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Fight for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. So these things we don't have to worry about. Really, 2/3 of Israel and the rest of these knuckleheads, they're the ones that have to worry about it, because the Most High is really giving this white man this artificial technology to plague the world and destroy the wicked, and ultimately destroy themselves. Because you always see these different movies and shows how they'll try to create these robots and things of that nature, and it all backfires on their plans to the point where they start to move on their own capabilities. And it doesn't matter if you try to shut down the system. More than likely they've created a whole nother system within itself. And we don't know the level of degree that it's going to turn up to, but we know that it's turning up very, very fast. We have an idea. That's why I said we know in part and we prophesy in part. And these parts, are being seen, and they're showing what times that we're living in. So this is Jeremiah 30:7. It says, Alas, for the day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Right. So we're coming in a time of very, very we're coming in a very, very troubling time. But it says that he shall be saved out of it. We're going to be rescued from the turmoil to come, when it's going to be a government shutdown, an EMP. It's going to be all kind of destruction and the wars, race riots, bombings. All these things are going to hit these different cities. But it speaks about how particular people, that particular people are the elect, the 1/3, are going to be released, and they're going to be redeemed from the midst of all those things. It tells you that, and also in Psalms 91, even unto the very end, when missiles drop on this country, the elect are not going to be touched, and not a hair is going to be scathed from their head. So I just wanted to bring this article out. Very heavy information about the times, the signs of the times, and the times are looking very, very grim. So I want to end by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shema Shai Shem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom Akim.